Wild finish. Wild finish. But for the Kings, they fall a point short. It was 99-90 with 2 minutes and 12 seconds left. Zach LaVine hits back-to-back threes, cut it to 3. You had Harden go to the line for 4 consecutive free throws on 2 possessions. He missed the back end of both, so he was 2 of 4. That opened up the door for Sacramento. And then a pivotal sequence in the game where the Kings could not get offensive rebounds, or excuse me, could not get the defensive rebound. The Clippers got a couple of extra possessions. Then on a timeout, Harden with a bad pass that Murray steals. Kings take a timeout, and you had DeRozan attempt a 3, and the Kings ran out of time, 101-100. So the Clippers have 49 wins. They're in top 6. The Kings now can not have a 500 season, all right? That can't happen anymore. And the Kings have a losing record at home. Think about that. A losing record on their home floor. And that's just so puzzling about how bad the Kings have been on their home floor. Awful. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Terrible. Just, how do you explain it, right? How do you explain that? 39-42 for the Kings and a losing record at home. 19-21 at home. Amazing. So we talk about what happens, right? What happens in a game where your 2 top scorers struggle? So what are we talking about? We're talking about LaVine. We're talking about DeRozan. So LaVine ends up in this game playing 41 minutes. He had 26 points. Before he made the last 2 threes in the final minute of the game, he was 2 of 10 from 3. He ends up 4 of 12, but only 9 of 23. And DeRozan has only 6 of 20. We talk about Malik Monk, right? This is the type of game where not having Malik Monk hurts you big time because you don't have that other scorer. We know about Sabonis, but, Murray, you can't count on him. Keon Ellis, again, he's not an offensive player. There are times he'll score, but he only had 5. It's just, you don't have enough scoring when you have your top 2 guns, DeRozan and LaVine, struggling. Just the way it is. 101-100. And for Sacramento, you look at the standings, and Dallas plays at Memphis on Sunday. The Mavs won tonight. So it just depends whether you want to be at home or on the road. I'd say get the Kings on the road. Seriously. Get them on the road. I'd rather see the Kings play in Dallas than at home. Seriously. That's right? Are you more comfortable with the Kings at home or on the road? I know what I am. On the road. So frustrating. So frustrating. So if you beat the Suns, you end up with a record of 40-42. And you'll host the Mavericks. If you lose the game and Dallas loses and Memphis, you're at home. If you lose the game and Dallas wins, you're in Dallas. Memphis lost tonight. I'm shaking my head because you just talk about what could have been, right? What could have been. All right, give me a call. You've got the, put the QR code up for you behind my shoulder. All right, there it is. I'll give you the link. Rhino's at the game down in Stockton with the Stockton Kings, so I'm going solo. So there's your link. Give me a call. and we'll talk about this. I mentioned this on my rant today. This game really doesn't mean anything for Sacramento. It just doesn't. I know fans are going to disagree with me, but it doesn't really mean a lot. You're going to be playing Dallas, and the only difference is, are you going to be playing them at home or on the road? That's it. And to me, I'd rather see the Kings in Dallas. You know, that's how I'm looking at this. Do you agree or disagree? Do you care whether the Kings are at home or on the road? Here, let me let's see here. Said want me to post the link in the chat. All right, so hang on a minute. All right, there it is on your screen, right? So you got that. All right. And I think about how many games the Kings have blown this year. Right? All right, there's your link to call the show. There it is. It's in the chat. And tonight's another one. Tonight's another one. Plain and simple. All right, let's get to Dirk. Dirk, you'll start us off. How are you, Dirk?
Good, Grant. That was a fun game, nonetheless. But I thought it was a perfect preview of what the Kings are going to look like in the playoffs. Would you agree?
Expand on that.
DeRozan is career field goal percentage drops 6 points from about 47 to 41% across 60 playoff games. So you're going to see less effectiveness out of him. I thought this was a good example of how they can take him out of the mix. You saw Zach LaVine find a shot. So I think the best version of Zach LaVine is one who shoots 20 plus shots a game. You got to feel confident that he'll eventually find his stroke. I wish more of those were 3-pointers than some of the attempts to penetrate. And I will say he's only credited one turnover. It felt like there was a few more than that.
Okay.
In talking with Ryan in the preview, Devin Carter was the guy I wanted to see get some more minutes tonight. I thought he was had a good game. He wasn't everything you might want him to be, but very effective on the defensive side. The one guy I was hoping I would see more out of tonight was Keegan. I don't know about you, but does it ever seem like he's trying to shoot too quickly from the 3-point line before he's set?
Yep. I don't disagree with that. I do at times agree with that. Yes.
I wish he would. It feels like this offseason is going to be critical for him. He needs to work with some sort of one-on-one coach purely on the offensive side. And I still can see that 18-point-a-game potential in him if he can just figure out his spots. Like where can he be effective here? But yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, the Kings if they're going to be effective in the playoffs, they're going to have to find.
Well, they got to make the playoffs first. The play-in's not the playoffs. The play-in's the play-in. The playoffs are the top 8 teams. So when you say they got to be effective, they got to make the playoffs first.
What can I call it then? The postseason?
It's not the play. The playoffs don't start until the play-in tournament is over.
All right. I've always assumed we're just all calling it playoffs now, regardless if you're in the play-in. We'll call it postseason.
Okay.
If the Kings want to be effective in the postseason, they're going to need to find new guys to take up some more of the brunt of the offense. But yeah, overall, fun game. I have confidence they're going to be able to take Phoenix if they want to. Personally, I don't care if we have the home game or not, because I don't want to award ownership a play-in game this year, personally, to profit off of it. So I'd rather just see the Kings perform their best, and we'll see how it goes.
All right. Dirk, always appreciate it when you take the time to call the show. Thank you. All right. You know, again, we talk about we talk about close games. We talk about the Kings' record. We talk about being bad at home. You know, you look at the standings right now. All right. It's just amazing to me. Denver and the Clippers are 49 and 32. The Warriors play the Clippers on Sunday, but the Clippers have beat the Warriors 3 times, so they win a tiebreaker against the Warriors. Minnesota's 48 and 33. Memphis is 47-34. Memphis hosts Dallas. Minnesota is playing Brooklyn, or I think Utah rather. And then you've got the Kings and the Mavericks at 39-42. All I can say for the Kings, this has been a very disappointing season. It has been a very disappointing season. With that said, I believe that the winner of the Kings and the Mavericks game has a very good chance of winning the next game, because I believe that next game will be against the Memphis Grizzlies in Memphis. And I think that the Kings would have a very good chance of winning that game. I really do. I think they would have a good chance. All right, if you want to call the show, do so. Love to have you on. Let's get to Michael. Hello, Michael. How are you? Let me get you on the screen here. Go ahead, buddy.
There we go. How are you doing, Grant?
Okay.
I'm not sure have you seen Ryan though? Where's Ryan though?
Ryan's at the Stockton Kings game.
Oh, okay. I think this is, as you said it, well and done. You said it, as you said, the Grizzlies would be what's that, the 8th seed? You think, huh?
Yeah, I think they're going to lose in their first game to either Minnesota or Golden State. And I think then that the Kings would play at Memphis if they beat Dallas. And I think that would be a 50-50 game. I think it would be a toss-up. I'd actually give the edge to Sacramento. I think, Levine and DeRozan killed Memphis. They always have. They
match up better.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good matchup for Sacramento.
I like the matchup though. I think I like the setup of the play-in though. Mavericks and Memphis, I think, compared to last year. Last year we were, I think, Warriors, and then I didn't like the matchup against the Pelicans. Remember the Pelicans killed us?
Of course I remember. Yeah. Yeah.
They were a nightmare. They killed us. I don't know. We lost 6 in a row. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It's really amazing how matchups can determine the game, what they find the weakness.
That's right. Yeah.
What are you seeing where do you see the 3rd seed and the 2nd seed? 2nd seed is locked already. Who do you see in the 3rd seed?
The Lakers.
Lakers in the 4th?
I think probably Denver.
Even though Malone was fired.
Well, they only got one game left, and they're 4th right now at 49-32.
Okay. I wanted to know how they fired Malone, though. I mean, what's the reason they fired Malone?
Issues going on in the locker room with how he was handling Russell Westbrook, and there was a lot of friction between Mike Malone and the general manager. There's just a lot going on there.
And that's why they fired the GM too, because of those reasons. Yeah. And what's the reason they fired Taylor Jenkins, though? I mean, that's another shocking one.
They just, again, issues with John Morant, issues behind the scenes. It's just, part of the deal. But Michael, good hearing from you, buddy. You take care, and we appreciate the phone call. Don't forget, all right, there is a game on Sunday, Game 82. Game 82. And if the Kings win, they're at home. If they lose, they might be at home. But does it really matter? Does it really matter? I'll tell you what matters. A reputable company, when you need them, when you have plumbing issues, that's New Works Plumbing. They've got a fix for you. They're available around the clock 24/7. Give them a call or go to their website, see it on the screen, or newworksplumbing.com, NEWWRXplumbing.com. New Works Plumbing, they've got a fix for you. And don't forget, a rant with Grant coming up a little bit later in the show. What would you like me to rant on? What would you like me to rant on? That is coming up a little bit later in the show. Masters Sunday for sure. Boy, that looks like it's going to be one hell of a Sunday, doesn't it? Man, what a round of golf today for Rory McIlroy and Bryson DeChambeau, and that's going to be a fun weekend, no doubt about that. Hire Jenkins. Let's get through this season first. But, again, when you look at what's going on right now in the Western Conference, and you think about the Thunder, 67 wins. I mean, that's the other issue. So let's say you beat Dallas and beat Memphis or whomever else you're playing. You're going to win a game against Oklahoma City? Seriously, are you going to win a game against them? I don't know. Not unless Shea Gilgeous-Alexander gets hurt. Dirk says the Clippers are super deep. I can see the Western Conference Finals for them. I guess I could. I just don't have any confidence in James Harden in these big games. I don't. Tay, what's going on? You're next.
Hey, Grant. Good evening. Hope
Good
you're
evening.
doing well.
Thank you.
I agree with you that this was with one game left to go, a disappointing and underachieving season for Sacramento. But I think if you look across the Western Conference, a lot of the teams have had their own dysfunction. Denver and Memphis, obviously, with firing of their coaches. Dallas making probably one of the worst trades in recent NBA history. Pelicans losing their entire team to injuries. San Antonio losing Wemby, and that eliminating their playoff chances, and Minnesota arguably underachieving after going to Western Conference last year. Do you think this is one of the more seasons in the Western Conference in your most recent memory where it just seems so discombobulated?
Yes and no, but I look at the standings and you talk about Denver. They might win 50 games if they win on Sunday. And so I wish the Kings would be discombobulated like that and have a 50-win season. Minnesota, I think the trade did not work out for them the way they envisioned. New Orleans isn't part of the equation because they had just the devastating injuries. And you can't say that about San Antonio because Wembanyama had a blood clot and they expect him to be back and full strength. So I wouldn't say San Antonio's issues are anything other than bad luck.
Mm. Yep. I mean, just one game left to go. I wish they won tonight so that they could rest the starters. But to your point, I don't think it really matters whether they play on the road or not.
No.
It really comes down to whether they can execute and play through their sets come next week. So thanks, Grant. Appreciate your feedback.
Thank you. All right, bye-bye now. Next up, Andy. Andy, welcome to the postgame show on If You Don't Like That.
Hey, Grant, how's it going, man?
Okay, Andy, what's happening?
Not much, just pretty solid game. It's another 1 point loss, unfortunately. But we already kind of went over the play in the situation, and it doesn't really matter either way. We're going to be 9-10 either way. I did have two things for you. One idea for your rant would be player empowerment. Like someone before was talking about like the coaches getting fired, and obviously like a lot of that has to do with like maybe the star players throwing a fit, or they
Yep.
don't like see eye to eye, and it's always the coach is the first one to go, even if you win a championship. They're, or Mike Brown, for example, coach of the year. It's like the trend is they just ship them out like left and right, and the coach is always the fall guy.
Well, you make a good point. It's easier to fire the coach than 13 or 14 players.
Mm-hmm. And it's definitely probably easier to find a coach than to find another Nikola Jokic or another John Morant or an NBA all NBA player like that. And then I know this is a basketball podcast, and I hope you don't mind me asking. If you do, I could ask it on maybe one of your personal shows. But I know you're a Giants fan. I know the NFL draft is coming up. I was wondering who you're hoping they take at number 3, being if Cam Ward goes at number 1.
Well, I won't talk about that on this show. You're right, but I hope they take somebody that can play, which has not been the case with their draft picks in the past. Andy, I hope you have a great weekend. Thank you for your call. Take care. Bye-bye. All right, let's get to some more phone calls. Umer, what's going on? You're next here on the postgame show.
Hey there, Grant. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go right ahead. Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
You got it. Thank you so
Thank you,
much
Umar.
thank you, as always, for taking my call. Grant, at this point of the season, I'm just not even caring much about wins or losses. Just as you said, even if we make it into the playoffs, where does this team go? And honestly, I was at a point a couple games ago that we should have been working to maybe protect our draft pick, but obviously that's not the direction that the team took. Be as it may. So I just wanted to take a bigger picture view of this and seeing what the Stockton Kings are doing, and they've been doing it consistently for the past couple of years. The talent and the championship runs, etc. What are they doing well as our G League affiliate that we, for some reason, cannot get a hang on? And then I had something of a follow up question to that as well.
Well, I'm not a expert on the G League, so it'd be very difficult for me to comment on that. I don't watch the G League. Stockton has done very well, and they should be commended for that. I would think that there would be very little parallel between the success of a G League team and the success of an NBA team. Similarly to AAA baseball and the parent team, I don't think there's any correlation, to be honest with you. I don't think that one has anything to do with the other. That's my opinion. Without really knowing that much about the G League and not following it, I don't really think you can draw any parallels or say, well, the Kings, the Sacramento Kings should be doing and modeling themselves after the Stockton Kings and vice versa. I don't think there's a parallel at all there.
Sure, sure. Just thought I would ask because I mean they're our closest thing to basketball operations that we have, and they're obviously doing so much better. And if there were some management styles or personnel that we could learn from or adopt, and again, I take your point well of that. You can't. It might be more of an apples and oranges there than
It is
an
apples and
apple.
oranges. It really is.
Sure, sure, sure. And just the other follow-up question, Grant. I don't think I've had a chance to speak to you and Ryan since this time, but the Sam Amick reporting that had been coming out for the past couple of weeks that Anjali, that the Kings owner is taking advice from his daughter and her boyfriend, and then you hear about Vladi Divac potentially back in the mix, and it's just one of those things that makes you wonder, like, hey, are these people serious about running a basketball team, or are they making it their own pet toy, a billionaire's play game on the side without some real serious commitment and recognition, like, hey, this team may be under your ownership, but there is a public trust component to it that must be honored, and you can't be going around making these type of decisions. And the question then becomes is how do you get uh, you can speak, you have press conferences with the front office, you have media scrums with the players and the coaches, but there really is no way to speak and get the owners on the record of, hey, is this what you're thinking and what is going on here, because this is not how we want our basketball team to be run. So your thoughts on that? And boy, I'm just hard pressed to think, like, do we see the Golden State Warriors or any of these high functioning teams meddling around in this manner? And I just thought I would get your thoughts on
All
that.
right.
Thank
Well,
you as always.
thank you. I appreciate the phone call. The reality is Vivek would listen to the mailman if the mailman started talking to him about his team and might take some advice. So he has too many people in his ear. He continually makes the wrong decisions. His knowledge of the game of basketball is as insignificant and as how do I want to say this? I have more knowledge about the tech market in the Silicon Valley, which is zero, than Vivek has on basketball. So he shouldn't be making any decisions in any way, shape, or form with anything that has to do with basketball operations. That's the reality of it. He's not capable. He doesn't know what he's doing. And that's just the reality. And everyone in the organization knows that, but there's nothing they can do because he's the owner. He's the managing general partner. and he can do what he wants. It's just, look at John Fisher in the A's, right? I mean, when you have an owner and the owner doesn't want to sell and the owner wants to continue to be the owner, and in this case, the managing general partner, there's nothing that can be done. That's the reality of the situation. You know, I know fans don't want to hear that, but that's the truth. He has an ironclad contract. He has complete autonomy, complete power. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. And I know that fans sometimes don't want to hear that, but that's where we're at. Hey, speaking of where you're at, you can be at Sunrise Landing in Calusa, a beautiful residential community from Blazona Development with various lot sizes, many models to choose from, no Mellorews, no homeowners. That is all there for you at Sunrise Landing, adjacent to the Calusa Golf and Country Club. Good access to the major roads like I-5. Go to CalusaSunrise.com and check out everything with Sunrise Landing. Don't forget a rant with Grant coming up in a little bit right here on the postgame show. Interesting phone calls. Someone says, who cares about Vivek? Well, you better care about Vivek because everything starts with the owner. So you better care about him. You better care about him. You better hope that he wakes up and starts hiring the right people and doing the right thing. So you better hope and you better care. You better care. All right, if you're just joining us, we welcome you to the postgame show. The Clippers win by a point after leading 99-90 with 2:12 left. Kings had an opportunity to win the game at the buzzer, but DeRozan's three, no good, and the rebound, not enough time. The game was over, and the Clippers are now 49-32. Sacramento is 39-42. Very, very, very disappointing with one home game left. Just brutal. I mean, you think about this, right? The Clippers are now tied for fourth with the Denver Nuggets. They play the Warriors coming up on Sunday. And the Clippers, if healthy, could be a real difficult out. All right? Could be a difficult out. You know, here's the other aspect of this game we haven't talked about. It was 84-80. Right? Was it 84? Yeah, it was 84-80 with the Clippers winning in the fourth. And Christie got a technical, first one of the year. That ended up being a pretty big point, did it not? Ended up being a pretty big point. Kings lose 101-100. And again, 2 games under 500 at home. 2 games under 500 at home. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. Tell you what's not brutal. The food at Bennett's, Prime Seafood and Steaks. Hey, how about brunch down there this weekend? Whether it is the West Side Grill in Rockland, whether it's the Sacramento or Roseville location, go to Bennett'sRestaurants.com and make a reservation. Enjoy your weekend brunch at Bennett's. You will love it. It is awesome. Prime Seafood and Steaks at Bennett's. Again, the West Side Grill in Rockland, the newest of their 3 locations. And then, of course, Sacramento and Roseville as well. Go to Bennett'sRestaurants.com. 101-100, the final. Rhino is down in Stockton at the Stockton Kings game. So where are you right now with this season? Are you going to judge everything based on 2 games or 1 game in the play-in? Like, what would happen if the Kings won 2 games, got into the playoffs, and got swept by Oklahoma City, or lost in 5 games to Oklahoma City? How would you look at the season that way? Successful, not successful? I'm just curious how you would see that. How would you look at that from a fan's perspective? Excuse me, I got allergies here. How would you look at that? How would you judge the Kings season? All right, if you want to get online with me, you can. Let's get to some more phone calls and Chris. Hey, Chris. Chris.
Grant, can you hear me?
Yep, go right
Hello?
ahead. Yes,
Hey,
go
Grant,
ahead.
how you doing?
Okay.
Hey, just to call, I got a chance to hit the doubleheader. I went and saw the first 3 innings of the A's Mets game. That was fun, and then we walked over to Golden One Center for the second half, and
Good
you
for
know,
you.
yeah, it was pretty fun. It's I'm not a big fan of the A's leaving Oakland, but they're in Sacramento. Might as well check out a game, right?
How much did the tickets for the baseball game cost?
I got them last minute, $20 for
Oh,
lawn tickets.
wow, good for you. That's wow, I'm shocked.
Yeah. No, but I saw them a couple days ago. They were expensive. I was like, man, who's paying that
Yeah,
much to see the A's, right?
yeah, I hear you. Yeah,
Yeah. Just want to call, check in. Thanks for everything you do, man. And
thank you.
yeah, the game is disappointing, but at this point, what can you do?
Thank you, man.
You
I
know, you're
appreciate that. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I really appreciate you calling, and that's kind of nice where you can go to a baseball game for a couple innings and then go to the basketball game. Good for you. I like that. Really appreciate your phone call. Good stuff right there. All right. Hey, if you want to call the program, please do so. All right. We would love to have your phone call or anything else. You can give us a call, and we'll continue on here on the postgame show. Again, 101 to 100, the final, as the Kings are assured of having a losing record this year and a losing record at home. Think about that for a minute. Losing record on the year and losing at home. That's a bad, bad combination. That's a bad combination. Bad combination. I mean, I don't understand this. They are looking better and seem to be at least trying. Really? Like, what are we talking about? At least trying. Do you know what kind of a comment that is? That comment tells me everything I need to know about this season. Grant, it is a disappointing season and the franchise can do better, and it all starts at the top. Amen to that. I mean, are we to a point now where, thank you for the love. Are we at the point now where, like, if they're at least trying, you're good with that? Like, think about that for a minute. Like, I don't understand that. I really don't. I don't understand that. At least they're trying. Like, what does that mean? Athletes that are getting paid 10, 20, 30, 40, and $50 million are at least trying? Boy, that's very reassuring. That's good. I mean, come on. I just that stuff, I don't understand that. I don't understand a comment like that. At least they're trying. Speaking of trying, let me tell you something. Connor with Element Mortgage does a lot more than just try to get the job done. He does get the job done. You give him a call at 916-505-1006. And if you're a real estate agent and if you need a lender who works as hard for your clients as you do, Connor's your guy because he does get deals done. He'll keep you informed at every step in the loan process and makes the process easy for your buyers. And the team behind him is awesome with over 100 years of experience. Just give Connor a call, 916-505-1006, or the QR code right there. That's Connor with Element Mortgage. All right, I'm going to have my rant coming up here in a couple of minutes. If you want to get in on the program before we wrap it up, do so. Thank you very much for the super chat. Grains seemed like the last play may have been for Keegan, but Harding grabbed and Keegan slipped. Maybe. I mean, generally speaking, when you have Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan on the floor, one of those two guys is getting the ball. Grant, if the Kings made the playoffs, it would be a successful season. No way we should be in the mix. Are the Kings a championship team? No. But it's always nice to see the city come alive for the playoffs. That's true. I don't disagree with that. This city ain't coming alive. I think they would come alive for the playoffs. I think they would. Dirk says you can't put the last shot in the ref's hands. That's very true. You can't. Very true. But I don't have a problem with DeRozan or Levine getting the ball at the end, or if Malik Monk was healthy. I don't think it would be Keegan Murray. But the refs did not rob you. Stop, Dennis. Stop with the refs robbed you. I mean, Jesus. Every single time the Kings lose, it's the refs' fault. Please. You were down 99-90, all right, with 2:12 left, and you had, you did well just to make it a 1-point game. I mean, come on. I think sometimes fans just want to blame somebody, and you want to blame the refs. Blame the team. Don't blame the refs. All right? Blame the team. That's who you should blame. Don't be blaming the refs. Are there instances where a ref will absolutely blow a game? Yes, there is, okay? And when that happens, we talk about it. That wasn't the case tonight. That was not the case tonight. And now the Kings are 39-42 with the Phoenix Suns coming up next. And then we'll see what happens in a one-game winner-take-all against the Dallas Mavericks. Time for a rant with Grant, brought to you by EDH Motors, Automotive Reimagined. If you're looking to sell your vehicle, David and Adam are the guys. They'll get the job done. And you can call them. You got the email. Or you can go on the website if you're looking to purchase. If you don't find what you want on their website, don't worry about it. David and Adam will get it for you. That's what they do. And you'll take delivery at the Auto Lounge in El Dorado Hills Town Center. You don't have to go to a dealership. You don't deal with all of that. This is a long overdue concept. It's awesome. EDHmotors.com. EDH Motors, Automotive Reimagined, and a rant with Grant. The one thing about the Kings season, and you can judge this however you want, it has been a failure. And it has been a season of inconsistent play, ups and downs, underachieving players. It's been disappointing. Here you are getting ready for game 82, and you have 39 wins. The last 2 years, 48 and 46 wins respectively. And maybe you beat the Suns on Sunday. Who knows who they're playing? It's a meaningless game. And then maybe you host the Dallas Mavericks next week in the play-in. And maybe you win. And then you go to Memphis or whomever. And if you win that, you get a chance to take on Oklahoma City, where you'll probably get steamrolled. But even if that happens, you're still a 39 or a 40 win team. You're still a team that underachieved. You're a team that right now, future looks murky, in my opinion. We don't know if the Kings are going to have their draft pick this year, although I don't think we should put too much stock into that. One thing we do know, we got great fans. The fans turn out every night. The fans want to come on this show and talk about win, lose. I love that. And that's the one thing that will never go away. No matter whether the Kings win 60 games or 20 games, you will be here. Because that's what you are. You're Kings fans. You go through the good and the bad, the thick and the thin. We laugh, we cry, we get through it, and you have to hope for the best. Right now, I don't have a real good feeling when I think about the future of the Kings. I really don't. I'm not confident about it. I think you got real problems with the owner and his decision-making. And right now, this team is 48 minutes away after Sunday from being on vacation. Will the game be in Sacramento or will it be in Dallas? We'll find out Sunday. Appreciate you joining us here. That's my rant for tonight. Appreciate you joining me this evening solo as Ryan enjoying the Stockton Kings. Appreciate the heck out of you. We'll talk to you soon. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Stay safe. Bye-bye now.